Morning, everyone. It looks like it's 10:02, and so we'll get started. Welcome, everyone, to the 2023 Candidate Workshop. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Angie Kubota, and I'm the Candidate and Jurisdiction Coordinator.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Ann Dakota. I'm the Candidate and Jurisdiction Lead.
Hello, I'm Megan DeMorse, and I'm an Administrative Specialist with the Candidate and Jurisdiction team.
If you call or email us at Election Services, there's a good chance you'll reach myself, Chelsea Ann, or Megan directly with your candidate filing question. We have a few things to cover before we get started. We'll be recording this session and closed captions are available. If you want to turn on closed captions, you can do so by clicking the captions icon. You might need to select the More icon with the 3 dots to find the captions icon. We will also email out these slides and links we share throughout the workshop later today. If you have questions, you can raise your hand or ask questions in the chat or Q&A. Additionally, we've provided time at the end for questions for us, for Liddell from the Public Disclosure Commission, for Elizabeth from the City of Seattle, or with Polly from Seattle Ethics and Election. So we can take all questions here at the end. Since you're here with us today, I bet you're thinking you might want to be a candidate, but you just don't know where to start. It can all seem overwhelming. Hopefully today we'll rid you of your anxiety. I'll be your guide in the first part of today's training. For today's agenda, we'll cover many things such as the candidate manual and where to find it, the election calendar, online candidate filing, withdrawal of candidacy, ballot order, residency requirements, local voters pamphlet filings, voter data requests, and then later we have Liddell from the Public Disclosure Commission as our special speaker to cover public disclosure information. Also, Elizabeth from the City of Seattle and Polly from Seattle Ethics and Elections. As we start, if there's one key takeaway from this workshop that I can impress upon you, it is that we're here to help. Our team wants to make at least the technical aspects of the process as easy as possible. Our goal with today's workshop is to demystify the process. The first place to start is on our website. We have a page that is 100% devoted to being an informational source for candidates, campaign managers, or anyone interested in the process. Several tools and resources can be found on the Running for Office page. That's right, we have a whole page dedicated to help our candidates. The best informational tool to start with is the candidate manual. Chelsea Ann is placing a link to the candidate manual and the Running for Office page into the chat. Please feel free to follow along. The candidate manual is cover to cover of everything you need to know to become a candidate, like the election calendar, when and where to file, voters pamphlet best practices. It is comprehensive, a wealth of information, and is a highly recommended place to start. For this presentation, if the slide references the candidate manual, the page number will be in the top left-hand corner of the slide. Starting on page 5 of the candidate manual, you will find the election calendar. You will find key dates for candidate filing, the primary and general elections. You will find voters pamphlet statement deadlines, when ballots are mailed, when the election is certified, and other key dates. It is also color-coded. Red indicates the primary election, and blue represents the general election. You will find candidate-specific dates like the voters pamphlet submission deadlines, along with general information like when ballots are mailed and when the election is certified. Again, these are color-coded for each specific election. Now you know when to file, but how do you know what offices you can file for? Again, on the Running for Office page, you will find the next resource, the offices subject to election. This document has what position is up for election, the filing fee amount, if any, the current incumbent, where to file, and voters pamphlet word limits. To file for office, you must file a declaration of candidacy and pay the filing fee, if any. You must possess the qualifications specified by law required for the office. If I wanted to be a municipal court judge, I would need to be a lawyer and in good standing with the Washington State Bar Association. You must be a registered voter in the district represented by the office. For example, I'm in the Issaquah School District, so I would be eligible to run for the Issaquah School District Board, but I would not be able to run for the Seattle School District. The online filing opens at 9 a.m. on Monday, May 15th, and is open 24 hours a day until it closes at 4 p.m. on Friday, May 19th. We encourage everyone to file early in the week and not wait until Friday afternoon. We encourage everyone to file online as it is the most convenient way. If you're prepared and ready to file, it won't take you longer than 10 minutes online. So there's absolutely no reason to waste gas, fight 405, I-5, or 167. It's easy peasy online. We will be available during business hours to help candidates in person. We're open from 8:30 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. On Friday, in-person filing will close at 4:30 p.m. It is important to note online filing closes at 4 p.m. May 1st is the first day for that filings can be accepted by mail. Just know that we do not process them until Monday, May 15th. Personally, if I was a candidate, I would file online as it is not only fast and convenient, but because I would receive an email confirmation that my filing was complete. At the time of filing, you must pay the filing fee. It is 1% of the annual salary, so it could be $0 to thousands of dollars. Please note, filing fees are non-refundable. For those planning on submitting a filing fee petition, we encourage you to file early in the week. Each verified signature is worth $1. You cannot combine filing fee methods. Using the City of Newcastle as an example, if the filing fee is $60 and only 45 signatures were verified as valid, you are not able to submit payment for the difference. We recommend to collect 20 to 30% more signatures than needed. Remember that signers must be registered voters of the district you are filing for. The next thing you'll want to do is to make a candidate filing checklist. Is your voter registration current? Do you know what office and position number? Do you meet the qualifications required for that office? How do you want your name to appear on the ballot? Does your office have a party preference? Do you need to set up a PO box or campaign email address? Do you have your filing fee payment ready? To prepare to file, first double check your voter registration. On our King County Elections homepage, on the right-hand side, there is the My Voter Information lookup tool. Chelsea Ann is dropping the link into the chat. Just by entering your name and date of birth or house number, you can verify that we have you at the correct residential address. Remember, you must be a registered voter of the district for which you are filing to represent. So if you moved from Kent to Seattle, you will want to verify that we have your new Seattle address. If it is incorrect, just give us a call, and our voter registration team will assist you prior to filing. It is also important to note that every 10 years following the census, electoral districts are redrawn. This is done to make sure that each district represents an equal number of residents. Congressional, state legislative, and county council districts were redrawn in 2021. The city of Seattle and some special purpose districts with internal boundaries completed redistricting in 2022. Your district may have changed in either process. Be sure to check your voting districts using the My Voter Information tool lookup. Do you meet the qualifications for the office you're interested in? Page 13 and 14 of the candidate manual has a chart that goes over additional residency requirements and other requirements. If you have more questions, please direct them to the district. Again, you must be a registered voter of the district. Have your ballot name ready. We will cover more of this in a minute. You'll also want to have your campaign information ready. This is your campaign address, email, phone number, and website, if you'd like them to be listed. Again, we'll go over this shortly. For your ballot name, your first name can be a nickname. My name is Angela Kubota Wolbert, and on the ballot, my name could be Angie, as my friends and family know me. My last name does not need to be my full registered last name. So for my ballot name, I can use Kubota, or I can use Wolbert, or I can use both. Do not use a name that denotes occupation or military rank. I couldn't be Dr. Angela Kubota. Also, do not use a name that misleads voters or indicates political affiliation. I could not be the amazing Angela Kubota on the ballot. Again, your ballot name cannot be changed once you file. You'll need to refile and pay the filing fee again. Currently, we do not have any partisan offices up for election this year. Party preference is listed for partisan offices. On the offices subject to election, it shows whether an office is partisan or nonpartisan in the first column. A few important things about the campaign contact info. Do not use your government email if you're an incumbent. Next, do you have your campaign contact info ready to go? This information will be made available to the public during filing week and through the online voters guide and the local voters pamphlet. At the time of filing, your campaign email, campaign phone, campaign website will be listed in the CSV spreadsheet and also on our website. Also, a mailing address will be listed. If you leave the campaign address field blank, it will list your residential address. Updates to your campaign information appearing online can be made after filing. Just send us a detailed email. Chelsea Ann will speak more to this in the local voters pamphlet section. Here's an example of a declaration of candidacy. If I was preparing to file online, I would fill this out beforehand in preparation, like a cheat sheet. I would file as early as possible, like on Monday or Tuesday. I would file online. Remember, late submissions are not accepted. Candidates who file online will receive 2 emails, one as receipt of filing and one that your filing has been approved. Once approved, you will appear on our Who Has Filed page on our website. Our Who Has Filed page in the list of candidates is updated at noon and 6 p.m. at a minimum starting on Monday of filing week. There are no double filings. You can only appear on the ballot once. You cannot file for 2 positions. You can hold 2 positions, for instance, be a fire commissioner and be on the school board. But you cannot be on the ballot twice. So if you're thinking, I have a better chance on the school board, but I would really like that council position, so I'm just going to file for both and increase my chances, just know that you cannot. The exception is for precinct committee officers who are up for election in even years. Again, check that you have your correct position number ready. Position numbers are important. If you filed for Newcastle City Council position number 2, but you realize you meant to file for position number 4, we would not be able to just change it for you. It seems like a quick and easy fix, but it would require a withdrawal, and then you would need to repay the filing fee again. Before filing your declaration of candidacy, please proofread. Check your ballot name. The emphasis should also be on making sure you have the right office when filing. Check both the correct office and position number. Filing fees, if any, are non-refundable. A second filing fee must be paid. I don't know about you, but sometimes I buy things that look great in the store and I get home and get some feedback from my family that makes me question my decision-making. It's my buyer's remorse moment. This could also happen with filing. Just know the last day to withdraw is Monday, May 22nd, 4:30 p.m. Regardless of circumstances, you would need to withdraw by 4:30. Otherwise, your name would appear on the ballot. This includes not only changing your mind, but moving out of district, major life events, or illness. Liddell will also cover notifying the Public Disclosure Commission. What if you change your mind and you don't have a printer? The candidate's signature is required. So you can write on a piece of paper your name, the office, and that you'd like to withdraw, sign and date it, take a picture with your smartphone, and email it over. It's easy peasy. We will get you withdrawn if it is before the deadline. Remember, filing fees are non-refundable. Thank you again for joining us today. Megan will now cover filing online.
Thanks, Angie, for that wonderful overview. So we will now be switching gears. I will be doing a demonstration of what it'll be like to file online on the online candidate portal. So on the screen, we have our kingcounty.gov/elections. This is the link you'll want to type in, and we'll navigate the website in order to find the online candidate portal together. So this is what the homepage looks like once you enter in that link. And if you take a look on the left side column, we have I want to ... In that list, we have a run for office link, and you'll want to click on that. And once you click on that, it'll take you to the Running for Office webpage. All the resources and documents that Angie was referencing earlier will be on this page. The section we want to look at is the online filing, and you'll want to click that first link, online candidate filing. It'll then take you to the online candidate filing page. And right now this screenshot does not show it, but once it hits May 15th, there will be an active link that you can click on, which will then go to the online candidate portal, which looks like this screen. You'll want to read through the instructions and key details. And then at the bottom, you can input your first name, last name, and date of birth in order to log in. And please make sure that that you use what's on your voter registration. That way you can actually log in. The next page will then take you to a verification or verify registration info. Right now, for demonstration purposes, we are Jane Doe, and our residential address is the King County Elections headquarters. But when you log in, it should actually show your residential address. And if you need to make any updates, please contact our office. And if everything looks correct and good to go, you can click on the verify button. Now, step 2, we're in the candidate portal. This is the dashboard where your filings will show. And to start a new filing, you'll just want to click on the create new button. Now, for the office that you wish to file for, you'll need to click on the drop-down menu to show the district type. And then you'll want to click on that, which will then show you the list of offices within that district. And on this page, just make sure that you click on the correct office, and then to begin the actual application, you'll click on Start. Step 4 is the candidate information page. This information is the same as the paper declaration of candidacy form that you would fill out if you had come into our office, but as we recommend, online filing is the way to go. So the fields in red are required. You have to input something into there. Each section has a blue box with instructions and guidelines on each of those sections. But to briefly go over each one, the contact information box, the phone number and email that you input there is what our office will use in order to contact you for notifications or just general correspondence. For a ballot name, what you type here is how your name will appear on the ballot. And again, in our candidate manual, page 11 has the guidelines on that. For campaign contact information, the phone number, email, and website that you provide here will be posted on our online website, as well as the local voters pamphlet. So keep that in mind. And then for the campaign mailing address, same thing, that address will be posted online. So keep that in mind, because if you use the address on file, that may be your residential address, and you may want to use a PO box instead. So once you fill all those fields out, you can click on continue. Now we're on the summary page. Please take time to proofread this. As Angie mentioned earlier, if you end up completing this and you realize that you have buyer remorse, that you didn't want to file for position 3, you wanted to file for position 5, it's not as of an easy fix on our end to do. Rather, you would have to withdraw your initial filing and then refile again. And then again, the filing fee is non-refundable, and you would have to pay the $210 payment filing fee if you were Jane Doe in this situation. So Cannot emphasize enough, please proofread, make sure everything looks correct. And once everything looks correct, you can click on continue. When you click that button, this declaration of candidacy oath will prompt, and you'll just want to read through that. And once you've read through it, you can click on the I affirm the oath and I wish to file. And we are close to done. If your office has a filing fee, you'll need to make that payment. And this page is straightforward. Just input your information. And once that's ready to go, click on submit and pay. And now we've made it to the summary page. Congrats to us. We successfully filed online. Please do note that this page is for your reference. So if you'd like, you can print it. And also do know that 2 emails will be sent out to you. The first one will let you know that you've successfully submitted your online filing. The second one will be an approval email, which will be sent to you when our office makes that approval in our system. So again, 2 emails to look out for. And that completes the online candidate filing portion. I will now be handing it off to Chelsea Ann to talk about the local voters pamphlet.
Thanks, Megan. So let's talk about local voters pamphlets. All candidates may submit a statement for the voters pamphlet. If you move on to the general election, you'll be given the opportunity to submit a new statement and photo as well. We've got an example of a candidate statement on the screen here. We'll go into these in more depth in a few minutes, but this is the general layout. You've got your name and contact information next to your photo. Below that, we have your education, occupation, and statement. Now let's go over deadlines. I want to start by emphasizing that we cannot accept late submissions. All materials must be submitted by 4:30 p.m. on the day of the deadline. For the primary, you can begin submitting your pamphlet information the same day you file. Our local voters pamphlet portal opens on May 15th, the Monday of candidate filing week. That local voters pamphlet portal will remain open 24/7 until 4:30 p.m. May 26th. If you move on to the general election, you're given the opportunity to submit a new statement and photo. The local voters pamphlet portal will reopen on July 17th, which is when you can begin submitting pamphlet materials again. The local voters pamphlet portal will remain open 24/7 until 4:30 p.m. on August 4th. I'll say it one more time. All materials must be submitted by 4:30 p.m. on the day of the deadline. Okay, photos. You can submit a photo to be included in the local voters pamphlet. The photo should include your head and shoulders. We recommend a light colored background, but we don't recommend using a photo with a white background. You should use a recent photo no more than 5 years old. Your photo cannot include hats, clothing, or insignia that suggest a public office like a judicial robe or uniform. When you're choosing a photo, consider that the photo will be published in the physical pamphlet that's mailed to households in the county. In the physical pamphlet, your photo will be printed in black and white on newsprint paper. It's thinner, gray, you've probably seen it. Not all photos that look good on your phone or computer look good in the physical voters pamphlet. I'm going to move on to statements now. Your statement should be about you. Format your statement as an essay with your text and paragraphs. Don't use tables, lists, or bullet points. When you want to emphasize something, you can use italics. If you submit a statement with bold text, underlined text, or text in all caps, we will change all of this prohibited formatting to italics. Please pay attention to your word limit. Like Angie mentioned earlier, you can find word limits in the offices subject to election. The size of the jurisdiction you file in determines the word limit for your statement. Essentially, candidates for larger jurisdictions have higher word limits for their statements. Sometimes we do receive statements over the word or paragraph limits. When possible, we'll send you an email and give you a chance to correct your statement. If necessary, we will delete words or remove paragraph breaks starting from the bottom of your statement until your statement meets the word and paragraph limits. Our office supports 7 languages and will translate all statements into Chinese, Korean, Russian, Somali, Spanish, and Vietnamese for the primary and general elections. Because of this, we encourage you to use plain, straightforward language and follow language access best practices to make your statement more accessible to everyone. Simplifying long sentences and verb formats, using active voice, and avoiding idioms are some commonly recommended strategies to make your writing more accessible. We'll include a resource with tips on writing for multilingual audiences in our follow-up email. When you hear or see us talking about campaign contact information, we're referring to the phone number, email address, and website you provide to be published in the voters pamphlet. Government web and email addresses like those ending in .gov aren't permitted. Please notify us of any campaign contact information changes in writing. We have a form on our website that you can use. You can also submit contact information changes in an email to us. To have the contact information in the voters pamphlet updated, You'll need to notify our office before 4:30 p.m. on June 12th for the primary and before 4:30 p.m. on September 11th for the general. We will also have your voters pamphlet information published on our website, including your campaign contact information. The contact information on our website can be updated after the deadlines I just provided. Let's talk about proofreading. We will print statements as they are submitted. We do not proofread for spelling, punctuation, or syntax errors, and we do not edit statements. Additionally, changes aren't allowed after the deadlines. Because of this, we highly recommend proofreading carefully and thoroughly before submitting statements to us. We will email a proof to you before your statement is published so that you can review what we'll be printing. The only edits we can accept at that point are 1, if there's a discrepancy between what was submitted and what the proof shows, and 2, updates to your contact information like we just covered. If you want to update your statement or photo and it's before the submission deadline, you'll need to withdraw and submit a new statement and photo before the submission deadline. If you've withdrawn your pamphlet materials, but you don't resubmit anything before the deadline, nothing will be published in the voters pamphlet. To withdraw your statement or photo, you'll need to complete and submit a withdrawal of local voters pamphlet submission form. These forms will be available on our Running for Office page as we get closer to candidate filing week. Now I'm going to cover some miscellaneous items. Our office determines the order of candidate names on the primary ballot by lot draw. We conduct the lot draw shortly after 4:30 p.m. on the Friday of candidate filing week. For the general election, candidates are listed in the order of who received the most votes in the primary. If a race skips the primary and moves directly to the general, the candidates will be listed in the lot draw order from the primary. You can request information on voters. Data may only be used for political purposes. You can submit a voter data request via our online portal, GovQA, which can be accessed on our website. The data files we provide in response to your data request are provided through GovQA as well. You can also request information on which voters have returned their ballot during an election. This data will only include voters who are eligible for the current election within the requested district. To request this data, you can complete and return the mail ballot return data request form on our website. Finally, you can request a list of voters that have a signature challenge on their ballot for the current election. To request this, please contact our office. If candidates want to, they can hold voter registration drives. If you do want to hold a voter registration drive, plan your drive in advance and be aware of voter registration deadlines. Any registration forms you collect from your registration drive need to be turned into our office within 5 business days. We have more tips for holding a successful registration drive on page 27 of the candidate manual. King County Elections has no role in the regulation of campaign signs. Where you place your campaign signs will determine which rules you'll need to follow. Signs placed within the limits of a city or a town need to follow the municipality's rules. We provide links to the county and Department of Transportation's political sign regulations on our Running for Office page. You'll need to follow the county's rules if you're placing a campaign sign in unincorporated King County, and the Department of Transportation rules that we link to on our website apply to campaign signs placed along state highways. We provide multiple ways for you to observe the election process. You can take a self-guided tour of elections via the viewing loop on the 2nd floor of our Renton headquarters. The viewing loop is open on weekdays 8:30 to 4:30 during an election. We also provide live election cam streams on our website during an election. For the primary, the viewing loop will be open and the webcams will be streaming from July 12th through August 15th. For the general, the viewing loop will be open and the webcams will be streaming from October 18th through November 28th. Candidates and representatives of political parties can also attend observer trainings and observe election activities in person. For information about campaign finances, please contact the Washington State Public Disclosure Commission directly. We've listed their website and phone number on the slide. We will also include their contact information in our workshop follow-up email. Now, Liddell from the Public Disclosure Commission will provide some more information about campaign finances.
Thank you. Good morning, everybody. I'm going to share my screen. Let me go to the PDC website. So just give me just one moment here. So here we are at our PDC website, pdc.wa.gov. Regardless of where you're at on our website, any of the pages, you click on that PDC logo, it'll take you back to our homepage. We have 4 candidates up here in our green banner. We also have, if you search down, scroll down, you'll find that there's 4 candidates. We also have if someone is an elected official. There's some additional information there, and we'll go over some of the information for a candidate that will be filing their registration and their F1 statement. Click on the link for candidates. I'll take you to this page. You have quite a few different choices that you can choose. New candidate FAQ, the registration that we are going to talk about in a moment, and the basics that you'll be reporting. For the Public Disclosure Commission, you become a candidate according to disclosure law when you either accept contributions to spend money for your campaign, you reserve space or purchase advertising to promote your candidacy, you authorize anybody else to do these activities for you, or you state publicly that you're seeking office, or you file your declaration of candidacy in May. So for the PDC, you may become a candidate a few years before you actually declare, or you may become a candidate during the declaration. We do have quite a few office holders who will file that registration right after they're elected, and so they're already a candidate according to the PDC and disclosure law. Once you become a candidate, you have 2 weeks or 14 days from the date that you become a candidate that you need to file your personal financial affairs statement and a candidate registration with the PDC. On this page about who files the report, you can take a look at the different offices under the state, local, judicial. There are some exemptions. And then here again for candidates, you file within 2 weeks to become a candidate, and that report for the personal financial affairs statement is going to go back 12 months. So today is April 20th. If you became a candidate today on April 20th, your report would cover April 20th, 2023, back to April 20th, 2022. And again, here are the items based on disclosure law about when you become a candidate. We're going to move on. Let's scroll back up. We're going to move on to our candidate registration. So for the candidate registration and also for the personal financial affairs statement, the law requires that it's filed electronically. And you will need very similar things to the items that were discussed earlier as far as when you're doing your declaration. So you're going to have your candidate name, which is your legal name. You're going to choose a committee name for your candidacy if you'd like, Friends to Elect Liddell, re-elect if you've been elected previously. You can say elect, any of those type of things. We just give a few examples there. Could be your committee name. And then we did speak about, at least for King County, that there were going to be just nonpartisan, but if you were running for office that was actually a partisan office, you need to declare your party preference if you had one. When you are filling out your campaign registration, you will have a choice of either choosing mini or full reporting. For mini reporting, there are a few things that you would need to take into consideration. Quite a few committees or candidate committees find that they are not really able to do a full campaign under mini reporting. So this depends on, a lot of times with your opponents, how many you have, and additional items like that. So there is a raise and spend no more than $7,000, and then you can dollars from any one contributor, and that's in the aggregate. And again, this is for your entire campaign. There are, if you say declare early, not as far as disclosure, not necessarily declare early as far as the declaration of candidacy, but as far as disclosure law, you are already a candidate. You do not know, in May who else is going to be a candidate for your office and position, and you have chosen mini reporting, there are some additional steps that you may take about changing reporting options. There are deadlines that you want to make sure that you are paying attention to. If you're going to be on the primary election, your deadline to have all of the information to the PDC is June 16th. And if you do not meet that deadline, or you're not on the primary, or you went to the primary and then you're going on to the general, August 31st is the deadline for the general election. Again, all the items in the packet needs to be completed to the PDC. We do have below here about the items that you will need. If you do fall into this category, what I suggest is that you either call the PDC or email the PDC, and then we will have one of our filer assistant specialists work with you on the items that you would need to send to us to do that change. Once you're a candidate and you have filled out your information and you've chosen full reporting, you may be filing a C3, which is your deposits, a C4, which is a combination of money in and out, but it also has your details of your expenditures. And we have our key dates for 2023. Right now, if you were a candidate and you were filing, you're doing monthly reports, you file a C3 for every day's deposit, and then there's accumulation for it. That's the C4 that will cover the reporting period. However, on June 1st, that information will change and you'll begin filing your weekly C3 reports. And again, we have reports as plural because you may be doing more than one deposit in that week, and each day's deposit is a separate C3 report. And then that also starts the 21-day, 7-day, and post-primary C4 reports. And one of the things that we recommend, especially if you're a candidate and will be doing your own filing, is that you keep everything up to date. As you will see right here, we have a due date of July 12th, and this is your C4 that's going to cover from June 1st to July 11th. So it's a pretty quick turnaround on all the information that you'll need to enter for your expenditures and your contributions up through the 11th, and it's literally just due that next day on the 12th. Again, that's our 21-day pre-primary. We also have the 21-day pre-general and 7-day pre-general and post-general. If you are not on the primary ballot, you'll file your monthly reports all the way through August, and then your for your C4s starting on September 1st, that will be when you have that reporting period starting September 1st through October 16th. That's that 21-day pre-general report. And that will literally be due the next day on October 7th. And then you will be filing reports through the end of the election year. For us, that is December 31st. It was spoken earlier about how to end a campaign. So for the PDC, there are a couple things that you'll need to do. If you've accepted contributions and had expenditures, you want to make sure you look at the end of the campaign before the election is held. And then we also have an additional document that you would need to fill out. We only accept this document up to June 30th. This is a statement of termination of campaign. This is for the PDC only. And right down here, we want to accept the statement after June 30th. However, if it's before June 30th and for whatever reason you have decided to terminate your campaign, you would email the PDC. We'd be able to send this back to you, and you would fill it out and send it to us so that we on our end could terminate your campaign. If you do not meet that deadline, you will need to continue to file reports. The PDC does offer, so I'm gonna go back to our homepage really quick here. So on our homepage, we have important dates and deadlines. If you click on the See calendar, It'll take you to our calendar. We do offer compliance and which is about the laws and rules, and then ORCA training, which is how to use our software. And you'll notice that today on April 20th, coinciding with this training that I'm doing, we're actually, one of my colleagues is doing our compliance training. And then at 1:30, we'll be doing ORCA training. If you are looking for when our next dates are, the arrow here, go to May. You'll see that there's candidate filing week. And then we're going to literally offer 2 trainings pretty quickly after that week, on Wednesday, the 24th, and on Thursday, June 1st. I'm going to go back to our homepage. You scroll down to find some news and events, things that may be informative that you would like to know about. You also might click on the Contact Us. When you click on that, it'll take you to this page. You can email. Our email address is pdc@pdc.wa.gov. However you do, if you click on this link, it will take you and it'll create a ticket there. And you'll enter in your email information, your name. There's a drop down for what you would like to do. Most of the time, it's get help information, filing reports. One thing we'll talk about is a modification request. We'll go back to the F1 on that. And then you just type in your description. If there's a file you need to attach, you can do that. You'll submit, you'll go through the catch up part. Make sure that you are a human, not a robot. We also have a phone number if you'd like to call us, and then we do have a mailing address here and a physical address. If you are going to be sending something to the PDC using FedEx or UPS, usually you'd want that physical address for that. Okay, so let me go ahead and go back to our homepage. This is our link down here to all of our file online applications. You see there's a link to the candidate registration, links to set up to file the C3s and the C4s. Let's scroll down till we find the F1 modification application. If you are filling out your personal financial affairs statement, and there is something that you may need to ask to not to report to the PDC, we would want to click on Go to Forms. These are we have specific modification requests for depending on what you're going to request. If you have a concern about disclosing the address of your home or other real estate, some of the questions that, and this works with our compliance officers, or the compliance coordinators, is, is that concern based on your personal safety? Can you cite a specific threat or a no contact order? If you have that, you would want to use that real estate modification. There are some additional things that you can request a modification for. If those are items that you need to take a look at or you have questions, feel free to give the PDC an email or a phone call and we can go over that. And I know that we do have questions at the end. I'm gonna go ahead and click on our link back to the PDC logo, and I'm gonna stop my share, and that's all that I have for us.
Thanks, Liddell. Next up, we have Elizabeth from the city of Seattle.
Good morning, everyone. Give me one moment to share my screen and pull up my presentation. Oh, excuse me, one moment. Okay, thank you. Good morning. My name is Elizabeth Atkinson, and I am the interim city clerk for the city of Seattle. And today I'm going to take a few moments just to let you know a little bit more about our Office of the City Clerk, the role we play with City Council, and also the services that we offer to you as candidates as you navigate this process. The Office of the City Clerk is a division within the legislative department of the City of Seattle, and we work directly with City Council in a myriad of fashions. Each City Council office is also located within the legislative department of the city. So the role of the city clerk generally is to be a neutral and impartial city official, and we serve all three of the branches of government as well as the public directly. We administer city legislative processes. We advise on meeting procedure and Open Public Meetings Act compliance. We keep and provide access to records of council activity, as well as housing our citywide records management program, our Seattle Municipal Archives, and also we have the legislative department's public disclosure team, which does all the public disclosure for the legislative branch, and that would include city council members. We also maintain the registry of all appointments to city boards and commissions. We receive and manage all mandated filings from city departments. We manage the city's domestic partnership registration program for the general public. We receive claims for damages and process service for the city. And we also serve as the filing officer for referenda, initiative petitions, charter amendment petitions that come forward from the public. A little bit more about our role in elections. We are the ex officio elections officer for the city of Seattle, and we coordinate in partnership with King County Elections and Seattle Ethics and Elections on all things elections related. So for you as a candidate, most likely the Office of the City Clerk will engage with those that are successful in their candidacy following the certification of the election results in November. And at that time, we'll reach out to you, those candidates, and begin to engage with you to make arrangements for your transition into the legislative department and to take on your role as a new council member. We will typically reach out to you to schedule orientation, onboarding, and also to take your oath of office prior to your term beginning on January 1 at 12:01 a.m. of the beginning of your term. So in between now and the end of this year, we also have a number of helpful resources to you all that are running or considering running as candidates for a council member position. And right there, you can see this is our website, the Office of the City Clerk with the City of Seattle. And through our website, there are a number of resources that you might want to start looking into if you haven't already. This includes information on our city charter and the Seattle Municipal Code. It includes information on the City Council rules of procedure, so how they run their meetings and do certain business. And also the RCW, so Revised Code of Washington, and all things related to the OPMA, which is the Open Public Meetings Act, and the Public Records Act, which is the PRA. We also have some specialized trainings available. The one that might be of most interest is how a bill becomes a law. And this really talks about the City of Seattle legislative process and how things move through that process to become ordinances and put into law. We also have a connection to our city council and district pages through our website, as well as a council calendar for all of the meetings that are currently in schedule and also the structure of our committees that are in place currently. And we do have election-related links and information on initiative, petition, amendment guides, etc. So to leave you just with a little extra information on how you can get in touch with us. We are the Seattle Office of the City Clerk. And again, there's my personal information if you'd like to reach out with any questions or to get additional information that would be helpful to you as a candidate. And also you can check out our websites and feel free to email our general city clerk line, call us in our office. If you need to mail anything to us, those are the addresses there that we can be reached at. And as well, you can visit us in person at Seattle City Hall. And just a little information about our desk hours. We're open Monday through Thursday and then Friday by appointment only. All right, thank you so much. And that concludes my portion of our presentation today. Please let me know if you have any questions in the chat. And of course, feel free to reach out to me directly if you have any questions offline. Thank you so much. Handing it back over to Angela.
Thank you. So next up, we have Holly from Seattle Ethics and Elections.
I'm trying to find my video. Excuse me. What's going on? Okay. Oh. I was here a moment ago and now I'm not. I apologize. Okay. So much for checking things out ahead of time. All right, well, let me just see if I can share my screen. How about that? There we go. Okay. Okay. Today I'm Holly Grove with the Seattle Ethics and Elections Commission. Now, excuse me, I'm having technical difficulties here. I'm with the Seattle Ethics and Elections Commission. So we are an independent agency of the city. And we have been around since the 80s. And we administer the several different codes, but the one we're going to talk about today has to do with our elections work, which is primarily campaign disclosure reporting. We also administer the city's Democracy Voucher Program, which is a public financing program where we provide candidates access to funding to fund their campaigns through vouchers that we give to residents. And then we also do the Video Voters Guide, and we'll talk a little bit about that. So for candidates running for the city of Seattle, we have our own code and rules for campaign disclosure reporting, and that mostly goes hand in hand with the state regulations. We allow candidates to use the same software that they use to file with the state. They can use that same software for filing with the city, but there's some steps that candidates have to take in order to be able to do both of those filings. We provide one-on-one remote training for anybody who is interested in running for office so that they can learn about those compliance rules. As a candidate, you're going to be responsible for keeping records of all of your campaign transactions. The training will talk about other things you should be aware of as a candidate. And so that you're not surprised. And of course, we'll go over the differences with state law. The Democracy Voucher Program, if you're not familiar with it, we mail 4 $25 vouchers to all registered voters in the city of Seattle. Eligible residents can also apply for democracy vouchers if they are resident of Seattle and not registered to vote in another jurisdiction. We have $5.2 million to spend on city candidates this year. And that is more than enough to fund the candidates for 2023. And to qualify for the program, you'll have to collect 150 signatures and 150 contributions of $10 or more from Seattle residents and residents in your district. We also offer a training on the Democracy Voucher Program. It primarily focuses on that qualifying process and just how the Democracy Voucher Program works and how you can get access to that funding. It's a very worthwhile training, so I strongly recommend it. And also, it's not too late to apply for the Democracy Voucher Program if you're interested in joining. Candidates have until June 2nd to indicate that they are interested in participating in the Democracy Voucher Program, but there is no deadline to complete that qualifying process. Of course, you want to complete it. The sooner you complete it, the sooner you get access to the funds. If you have questions about the training, contact Democracy Voucher at seattle.gov. And to learn more about the program, you can go to their website at seattle.gov/democracy voucher. On their, I think the resources page, there's a plethora of resources, including something called the Candidate Toolkit, which is a great guide for helping understand what the program is and how you can use it. But it is not a replacement for that training. The training will be really helpful for you. The Video Voters Guide. We have filmed a Video Voters Guide, I think going back to 1993. It's a great resource for campaigns. It is open to candidates for county-wide office, county council, Port of Seattle candidates, Seattle City Council, and Seattle School Board candidates. We invite you to come into the Seattle City Channel to tape a 2-minute statement. You get about 30 minutes for your appointment. And during that time, you'll be given an opportunity to tape a 2-minute statement. We don't edit the statement, so it's a full run through of your statement. If you can read your voter's pamphlet statement in 2 minutes, you can use that. You can write a completely different statement. And we tape all of those statements and package them up nicely, and they are aired on King County TV and on the Seattle channel. They are also streamed on those websites, and candidates can download their video to use on their websites or in their advertising if they want to do that. It's a fantastic resource. We will, this year, the primary election is very early, and so we will begin taping right after filing week. So you'll probably be getting an email from ethics and elections at seattle.gov. That's my office. Maybe during filing week or the following week. Please look out for that email so that we can get you signed up for a taping session. We'll be taping through June 2nd. And I realize there's a Memorial Day holiday in there, so please just put that on your calendars that is going to happen. And then the videos will be available beginning the week of July 12th. We will do a separate taping for the general election, or if you want to, you can use the tape you used in the primary for the general. So that's the information about the Video Voters Guide. And so, yes, so if you are interested in running for office, contact me. If you're interested in the Democracy Voucher Program, here's their contact information, democracyvoucher@seattle.gov. And the Video Voters Guide, again, we'll get the contact information from your campaign, either from the Public Disclosure Commission if you're not a city council candidate. We'll get it from the Public Disclosure Commission or from King County Elections when you submit your paperwork during filing week, and we will contact you if you haven't heard from us, feel free to get in touch with us. And yeah, please let us know. If you just have questions about running for office, please, for city council, for Seattle City Council candidates, please feel free to send me an email. I'm happy to have a conversation with you, let you know what you're in for, or answer any questions that you may have. And that is my presentation. I will turn it back over to Angie.
Thanks, Polly. So Polly had some really great slides, and we'll try to get those out to everyone in our follow-up email. So again, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today. Again, the takeaway that we hope that you have from today's workshop is that we're here to help you in your running for office journey. Please don't hesitate to reach out to us in elections. Chelsea Ann, Megan, or myself are here to help and always available by phone or by email. Again, we will send out the workshop follow-up email with the slides, the links included in the chat, and a quick survey, which will only take about 2 minutes to complete on average. We love any and all feedback, as we always are trying to improve our content. The survey also includes a question about the office you're considering filing for. That in no way, limits you to that office. It's just more for informational purposes internally, so we can help tailor our workshop and content in the future. And now I'm going to unmute everyone, and feel free to either just unmute yourself or to raise your hand, and we can call everyone like a roll call way. Either way, let me start unmuting.
Hello?
Hi, do you have a question?
Yes, if the candidate's position runs across two, and there's voters from 2 different counties, do we have to file in both counties?
So that's a really great question. If you look at the offices subject to election, and maybe Chelsea Ann can drive us back to that slide, but in the offices subject to election, it shows who you should be filing with. So if King County is the lead county, you would be filing with King County.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and so it says there, it shows there in that 4th column over where to file your declaration of candidacy. And then for your voters pamphlet, you would need to file your voters pamphlet statement with us. And then if you're in a shared county, you should also reach out to that county to see what their word limit and deadlines are as well.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, wait, one more. So the F1 is a public document that's searchable on the PDC website. So that means that anyone who wants to know my financial information, they'll have access to it. Is that correct?
That is correct. It's not as ominous as most candidates who haven't filed for office before. Everything on there is a range. There's ranges that go to like 0 to 30,000. Some of the things are 0 to 60,000. It's usually called a conflict of interest statement. So basically the reason why is the public has a right to know where your interests are and whether or not you are a board member of an entity, or whether or not you own. So we always like to give the example is your elected city council member and a a construction company is coming before the city council and they would like to, do a bid on some construction work and you actually own that construction company. At that point, you might want to recuse yourself, but your city does have the right to know that you own that company or that you're a board member on the company.
Okay, and is that why you required spouse or partner information as well?
Yes.
And what about working teenagers?
There's certain things if your dependent meets the income requirements or the other require disclosure requirements, then yes, they are disclosable also.
Okay, and that's during the filing period, correct?
What do you mean during
The
filing
limits,
period?
because I'm looking at the website or at the form and it says there's a limit, but is that the amount they make during that period?
Yes, it's so if you're not a current office holder and you go back the year from when you became a candidate. And
Okay.
that's according to disclosure law for the PDC.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
This is Polly again. One thing I didn't mention is that the city of Seattle, we have a separate F1 that candidates must file in addition to the PDC F1. And I will share that with folks when they're ready to file.
Thanks, Polly. Are there any other questions out here for any of the panelists?
Hi there. I have a question about the qualifying signatures and qualifying contributions.
Okay, so the first question has to do with a filing fee petition. Is that correct?
No. For the
Oh.
qualifying signatures for donation vouchers.
Okay,
Polly.
yes.
So hi Polly. If I have a online contribution form that meets the SEEC requirements, and has like the specific language in it that you kind of need to meet that requirement, does that if somebody donates $10 or more to that, and they live in Seattle, obviously, does that basically meet the requirements for a qualifying signature as well? So it's kind of ticking both of those boxes off, or does that only count as a qualifying contribution? And so I'd still need 150 qualified signatures on top of that.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed the first part of your question. So were you asking about the filing fee petition for getting on the ballot? Using the filing fee petition for getting on the ballot as a qualifying signature?
No, I'm using thinking about enough qualifying signatures. So you know how you need 150 for to get the donation vouchers?
Yes.
So what my question is you need qualifying contributions and qualifying signatures, but if there's an online donation like off of a candidate's website, would that count towards a qualifying signature and contribution? Like would it count as a statement of support as well as a qualifying contribution, or would it just be a qualifying contribution?
It would, online contributions would only be a contribution. You'd have to get a signature either from that person or from somebody else to count towards your qualifying signature.
Yeah, okay, cool. Because I've heard a few mixed answers on that, and that's just one thing that's kind of confused me. Even if it says that it there's specific lingo in the candidate toolkit that says
Yeah.
that it can count as a qualifying contribution, but I would still need them to sign on top of that, right?
If you wanted that to count as a signature.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
So, Jared, did you have a question? I saw your hand was up a few moments ago.
Yes, I just wanted to confirm that the session on the 24th is a subset and there would be nothing different covered in that that was covered today.
Yeah, so that's a great question, Jared. Our content will be the same for all 4 workshops. This workshop today on the 20th was a little different because we had our additional guest speakers from Seattle. But the other 2 will have Megan, Chelsea, and myself and Liddell. Ramesh, do you have a question?
Yeah, Angela, I kind of did not follow when Polly was talking about the video pamphlet. Is that only for candidates that are related to City of Seattle, or is it King County wide? I'm talking for East Side candidates.
Hi, so it's open to candidates for countywide office like assessor. I don't know who the other countywide offices are on the ballot this year. And county council and Port of Seattle candidates.
Thank you.
That was a great question. Thanks, Polly. Is there any other questions?
Hello, this is Katie.
Hi, Katie.
Hi, just as a follow-up to the question that was just asked, if my husband works for King County, is that something, just as a mechanic, if he works for King County, does that make it so that I could not run in where I live, in the county of Seattle and the county of King County? Is there any reason, does that preclude me from being a candidate?
Because your husband works for the county?
Yep.
No.
Okay.
You just need to be a registered voter of the district you're running for.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right. Yep, that was, like I said, that last question just sort of cropped up the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, well, thank you everyone for joining us today. Again, Megan, Chelsea Ann, and myself are available by phone or email at any time at Election Services, and we're here to support you through this process. So no question is a silly question. Just always feel free to reach out to us, and we're here to help. And I'll just take one last call for any questions. Oh, looks like there's one in the chat. Thank you. Thank you very much. And I want to thank our guest panelists, Elizabeth, Polly, and Liddell, for joining us today as well. It's great to be able to partner with you all. So thank you guys so much. Oh, it looks like we have another question, Jared.
No question.
Oh, okay. Okay, guys, again, we'll send out that survey with the email follow-up that will have all the links, the slides. And you know, if you missed anything or want to attend again, we'll go over the same content on next Monday in the afternoon, or tell any of your fellow candidates or friends who might be interested. Have a great day. Thanks, guys.